best days. I can hit a one foot drive.
Welcome to another week of the 1 Foot Drive podcast. Back again, Mike Szabo, joined as always by Andrew Duvall and Tony Iannone. This week, we're going to recap our picks and standings. We got the world-famous player or pretender. We're going to do a little combined Coach's Corner and AD Weekly. We got a little subject we're going to cover with that. And then we're going to round it off with our fact check. What did we get right? What did we get wrong? We always shoot from the hip, so we'll see how we did. But first, this week is a majors week. We got the Women's U.S. Open this week. It is at Erin Hills. And to help us preview the Women's U.S. Open, we would like to welcome the assistant golf professional at Orchard Park Country Club, Giavanna Bolognese. Welcome, Gia.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to talk about women's golf and more about what I'm doing in the area.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for joining us. Should be a great show. A lot of cool stuff. I first met Gia recently this year. We were at our club at Lancaster for a junior league match. And Gia and I were chatting about all things golf and everything she's involved in. And I was kind of blown away by everything you're doing. And I told Andy and Tony, I was like, we got to get her on just for when we do the women's majors. That it's just awesome. People need to know what you're doing if they don't already. So with that said, I'd love to have you talk a little bit about what you're doing with the juniors, women's golf from Buffalo to Rochester, the whole thing. What do you got going on?
Awesome. Well, I want to start off by saying thank you guys for having me. So not that I'm new to the golf world, but like the professional side of everything. I don't tell many people my background, but I actually have a background in biology and pre-med, which has nothing to do with golf, but I golfed my whole life and I got an opportunity to start teaching. So I kind of took it and I went from there. So I have been working in the industry of teaching kids programming and instruction for around 5 years. So I'm nationally trained in both of those. I've traveled all over the country to get training and teach different kids and learn from different instructors. So that was kind of my base of everything. And coming from a background of being the only girl in the sport for most of my life, I was kind of a little put off by the fact that every time I would go into a job position or if I was going to play, it was mostly men. So then I kind of started branching out and moving more towards like female youth and like adult women golf lessons and golf clinics. So around a year ago, I started my own brand, Greatness is Achievable, and I heavily focus on youth sports like youth golf and women's golf. So not saying that I don't teach men, because I do, and I also teach like young boys, but I would say that I specialize in like young girls and women. So from there, I kind of started with my assistant position at Orchard Park Country Club. Gary reached out to me roughly a year and a half ago, and he was like, we would love more women involvement here, and I feel like you would be the perfect fit. So that I started, and that was like my first piece of kind of getting everything off the ground. And recently, within the last 6 months, I started pushing more at Diamond Hawk, and within the last 2 weeks, East Aurora Country Club. So I'm trying to get to every single place that I can to show women that golf is not scary. It's very safe, it's a comfortable environment, and it's for everybody.
Love that.
That's awesome. Very cool. Andy?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, my first question for you is, as you're talking about the younger females and trying to get them into golf, like what advice are you giving them to make to make them feel safe, to make them feel comfortable and something that they want to be able to do?
So I wouldn't say that there's any specific advice. It's more about making the situation comfortable. So I don't always start off my lessons talking about golf. I like to learn about the girl or the woman or what it is because there's a story behind everybody, and that kind of helps contribute to your swing. Funny enough, the more I tend to learn about the person, the easier it is for me to break down their swing and understand all of that. So instead of giving them advice on how to like golf, I just become more of like a nice, comfortable friend so that they want to come back and they want to play because they find that to be like a safe and comfortable environment.
I like that. Can you give me an example of what you kind of just explained with as you meet somebody and you start to talk to them, how that correlates with, the way they may play golf or swing it or
Yeah. So I have my favorite girls to teach are teenage girls because the first thing you get out of their mouth is, I don't want to be here. That's my favorite saying. I don't want to be here.
Yep.
Because I'm like, I know for a fact by the time we leave, you're going to change your mind. So instead of reinforcing all of like the technical golf garbage that like comes into it that usually pushes a lot of women away because it's too overwhelming, I talk to them about the sports that they like to talk about as they're swinging. So I'm like, okay, let's warm up. Let's hit a couple shots. Try your best. Don't put any, like, you don't have to put any effort behind it. Just like get loose. But like, how's volleyball? How's basketball? What do you like to do outside of this? Like, why do you like dance? Things like that. So we get talking on a lot of different subjects. So then whoever it is starts to open up about the conversation, which subconsciously opens up their like learning throughout like what I'm trying to say. So they're
it's
not so
interesting.
closed off when I'm trying to talk. And I've been there. I've been the only girl in a lot of situations, and 90% of my coaches were men. And it was the times where they would talk to me about who I was as a person that made me feel like, okay, I'm actually going to listen to what this guy's telling me to say, or like what this guy's telling me to do, because I feel more comfortable, if
That's
that
awesome.
makes sense.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
with the personal aspect of things going on. Yeah, I like that.
No, 100%.
Very interesting.
Super cool. Love it, love it. Yeah, I think it's super cool. I love that philosophy, by the way. Um, and I just think what you're doing is great because I tell all my lady golfers that my mom taught me to golf. So like it
Oh, I
means a
love that.
lot. Yeah, it means a lot to me to have ladies on the course and feeling comfortable and growing the game in that way. So keep doing what you're doing, keep fighting the fight. I love it.
Thank you.
Um, but so selfishly as a coach, I always like to ask other coaches this because I think everyone has their own unique way. But if we can get a little technical, if you have somebody who's never played golf before, never swung the club, where do you start?
So this is a lot more work on my end, but it's something that I really believe in. I like to teach through your like subconscious mind. So what I mean by that is I'm not telling you this and you're thinking like, okay, I have to turn my club face this way and I have to swing back this far. I'm going to give you a game or a drill that naturally makes your body swing that way so you get used to the feeling without the thought.
Have you ever heard of the cone drill?
Maybe,
Oh, jeez.
maybe. I guess it depends on
We
what it
got a good
is.
one for you. We got a good
Yeah.
no.
No, that's an inside joke. These guys set me up. I tend to rip the club inside. I'll get you the
Well,
video at some point.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
we've got a good video on it.
Yeah, I
So,
sliced a
so
cone
you,
in half. We'll just leave it at that.
We got to
okay.
get to you got to get into his mental psyche and
Oh,
talk to him
jeez.
about that. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We'll get so what are some of your favorite drills for super beginners
So I love
or games?
the generic tee drill where it's like, okay, let's see how many tees you can
Hmm.
pop out of the ground. And I don't care if they hit the most perfect shot I have ever seen. If the tee doesn't move, I'm like, it doesn't count. Because really, and another thing that I like to do is I like to kind of like dummy explain after like some of their misses because they'll look at me and you can see that they're confused and they don't understand why they're missing. So I kind of try and like take it back and be like, hey, like we do this for this reason. So it doesn't seem like I'm just having them hit this tee out of the ground,
Right.
like just because.
Yeah, 100%.
So, and I've noticed that has helped a lot because my whole philosophy behind the way that I teach is I love all of my students, but eventually I don't want you to come back to me
Yes.
because
Yes.
you're good.
Yes.
So they should be able to, when they're on the driving range, think, okay, Gia told me to do this T drill. This is why I'm doing it. So if I get tripped up when I'm playing, this is kind of like my reset.
I love that.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's very good.
Absolutely, like a little self-correcting. That's like when I
Right.
taught before I'm doing what I'm doing now, and I taught a lot. I'd almost over-explain to give them
Hmm.
too much information, which is sometimes bad, but just so they could troubleshoot it themselves. All right, it went left,
Right.
and because of this or whatever, and then they could trace it back within their own game. So that's
Right. And then
just pulled a
as
Duvall.
No.
Jesus,
I
Mike.
just pulled a Duvall. I
I'm not
yanked on the
editing
cord.
that. I'm leaving it. I'm leaving that in.
Yeah,
We
leave it
can't
in
get
there.
through a
That's-
week.
No,
Jeez,
absolutely
man.
not.
Unbelievable.
You just get your AM status back, Mike.
Yeah,
I should.
exactly.
I should.
Yeah.
Unreal. Well, that's pretty cool. What you know, increasing females playing, increasing juniors playing. What are some things that you do now to try to increase participation or try to? I mean, your philosophy is very engaging, and I think once you get your arms around somebody, they're in. How do you get them to get to you or to take that first step to sign up?
so I kind of do the same thing that I do before my lessons. I just simply talk to people. I don't ever really pitch what I do because if you're really talking about, like, once you meet somebody and they're looking to go for a lesson, there's a million people on the planet that can teach golf, I'm sure. But you want them to feel the connection because you're really just pitching you. Like, I want you to feel comfortable with me so that I can teach you. It's not really all about the golf, it's about the connection so that you can learn. So that's kind of like my starting point. And I also live by the philosophy of like, I'm always open for like new opportunity. So I teach as young as 4. I will possibly be teaching as young as like 3.5. Now, there's a lot of coaches out there that they're like, that's too young. I don't feel like they'll be able to listen. I don't believe in that. I feel like if you can hold a club and you're willing to stand there for more than 5 minutes, I will give you the chance. Because I've seen a lot of 5-year-olds that kill it. They're amazing. And I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, why are you not in classes? And they're like, I'm too young. So like I don't believe in stuff
Never.
like that. I'm like, I'll give you an opportunity. I'll help you. Who cares? Like you're sitting, you're listening to me, you're willing to learn. So why should your age get in the way of that? Same with like some women that have, like I have a couple women that might feel like, okay, like I have back issues or like I have neck issues, so I don't even want to try because I feel restricted. It's my job as a coach to teach you how to swing around that. So like that's kind of another thing that I pitch. Like I said, a lot more work on my end. I'm doing research, trying to figure out better ways to swing that help with like less pain and things like that. But my whole point in doing this is to grow the game and to make people feel more comfortable. So really in the end, when I see them hit that good shot and they're like, wow, like that didn't hurt. That means the world to me. Like that's why I do it.
That's really
Great
awesome.
feeling.
That's
Yeah,
great
that
stuff.
sounds good, yeah.
Andy, Tony, anything else for Gia?
What you mentioned you've done like a lot of training and gotten a lot of good coaching on coaching. Who or what have you learned the most from? Just for other coaches out there, can you recommend any resources or anything?
So I went through my organization that I was working with, and we specifically do youth instruction. So the whole organization, I don't know if you've ever heard of First Tee
Oh yeah,
before.
yeah, of
But
course.
that's kind
Sure.
of where I got like my footing with everything, and that's where I got my national training. But the biggest takeaway that I got from all of it was the mental aspect of it. Because I'm a big head case when I play, and I've struggled with anxiety and things like that. So when I was listening to coaches and learning about all of this, that was the biggest takeaway that I had. Because really, the 90% of golf is your mental game and what you're thinking about when you're playing. It's a lot easier to swing when you're relaxed. But like when everything else is going on, that was a huge thing that like the games and everything that I learned from these coaches was you're just trying to make it less stressful so it's more fun and easier to learn.
Love that.
That's
Simple,
awesome.
easy peasy.
And that adults are just giant children. That's another thing I like.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Amen.
My wife has 4 boys. Yes, that's for sure. Oh, geez.
Oh,
Andy, Tony, anything else?
I'm good.
Good
Yeah.
guys?
Yeah, I love it. I love everything you got going on right now. Especially a lot of it seems to be just the mental aspect of everything. And have you ever thought of kind of diving into that and just kind of specializing in that on the side of the 9 other things that you're doing? If you wanted to add another one, get to double digits. I
Yeah.
don't know, but is that
So
something?
I definitely have. I Another big reason why I'm so wrapped up in the game as it is because around a year and a half ago, I was diagnosed with OCD. So I have like clinical, like crazy. I do all the steps, all that stuff. And golf, like teaching, is kind of like my peace. Everything kind of stops, everything slows down for me. So that's another reason why I'm so heavy on the mental side. So, yes, I have thought about it
Yeah.
because it helped me so much, and I truthfully couldn't tell you how it has. Like, if I were to go back and try and think about it, it just kind of works for me. So, I would like to find ways where, like, people with different types of anxiety or people that are, like, very, like, insecure and they, like, are very introverted. Like, golf was my way of, like, learning how to be extroverted. If you would have known me when I was younger, I would never be on here. I would be silent.
That is
Wow.
So,
awesome.
That
yeah,
is.
so golf was like a big opening door for me. So I'm trying to give women and girls that opportunity, even if they don't stick with the game, but at least it's a starting point for like getting past that. So
Absolutely.
yes,
Super cool.
Even if it's
that
No,
was
not in
that is
golf,
true.
it's just in life, right? So,
right.
Yeah.
yeah, it just
Yeah,
Yes.
carries over and carries through. And I guess
That's a
that's,
wonderful thing to find.
yeah, yeah. It was
It's
kind of funny.
just yeah, just as a human, that's talk about Tony talks a lot about inner peace and being able to like, do things
meditation.
that you love and
Yes.
you're passionate about something that you truly love and do is that's incredible. It's really good for you. I
Yeah.
love that.
Thank you.
Now, you said at the beginning, Gia, greatness is achievable. And
Yes.
that's your portfolio, your brand, your business. Do you want to talk at
Hmm.
all a little bit about that? Like what, like Andy said, you might have 7, 8, 9 things underneath this umbrella,
I
but
know.
Yeah.
I
it's,
know.
yeah,
So my main thing, so I have kind of like three groups that I focus on so far with what I'm doing. So we'll kind of start with the name.
hmm,
So I was like kicking around, like teaching for myself for a long time. I really didn't feel like I fit like the coaching instructor piece of it. I was like, I don't know, like if I would be a good coach and stuff like that. So I had a couple like colleagues, and actually, funny enough, my boyfriend was like, you should just teach for yourself. And I was like, you're insane. Like, I just don't think that that's for me. So I decided to try it, and things kind of like started rolling and everything. And somebody was like, oh, actually, funny enough, it was Encore. Funny enough that you have the hat on. They reached out to me and they were like, hey, we should do like a golf ball together. So I actually have my golf balls through them. I'll have to send some to
Awesome.
you guys.
oh,
That's
that's really
really
But
cool.
cool.
they
Yeah.
were like, what's your name and what's your logo? And I was like, I don't have one. I was like, I just teach, like for fun. Like
Yeah.
that's it. So they were like, well, why don't we like work together and like see if we can figure something out? So they were a big piece in helping like develop my name and everything. And we kind of put like a
Right.
cute spin on my nickname because everybody calls me Gia. And I was kicking around some names, and I was actually at a drive, chip, and putt event, and I was talking to somebody and I was like kicking around the greatness is something. And I couldn't figure out what it was. And somebody was like, why don't you just say like achievable? Because then it kind of like umbrellas everything and golf. Like it doesn't just have to be golf. You can
Hmm.
be great and achieve anything. So that's kind of where the name like kicked up. And then I started thinking about, okay, what are some things that I could kind of tailor this to that a lot of coaches don't do? So I was talking to a couple moms and everything, like at Orchard Park and other places, and they were like, there's just not enough events and time because like we work all day and then like we'll come out at night and like every once in a while there'll be a clinic and like some of like the ladies leagues are during the day. So I was like, why don't we do a mom and daughter thing? Because
Oh
my
wow.
mom never learned how to golf, and I was like, I would have loved that to like go out and play with my mom, even if it was just like an hour, hour and a half. So I
Hmm.
started doing those. And then I had a lot of parents reaching out to me saying, hey, do you teach like as young as 5? And I was like, I have to do that. I was like, I have been preaching for years about how people should start teaching like that young. So I started those. I call them my pint-sized players. They're super cute. They're great. So they're my 4 to 6 year olds that I do. And then I have like my private lessons under there. And really, I only advertise the fact that I mostly focus on like girls and women. But I actually do have a lot of young boys that come to me too. And slowly, men are starting to come. So I technically teach everybody, but I do more specialize in girls and women because it's easier for me as a girl to teach girls and women.
Sure.
It's awesome.
Yeah, the
You
connection.
guys play much?
Mom and daughter golf. That
Yes.
is great.
That is
It has been a
awesome.
big hit because I feel like a lot of the girls and the moms feel less pressure because either their daughter's there or their mom is there. So it's more of like a fun, like relaxed environment, not so like, oh, like you're in a lesson alone and you're trying to learn. So I've gotten a lot of good feedback on it. I'm trying to grow that a lot because I've heard a lot of moms and daughters that are like, I would love that if somebody would offer it. And I'm like, I do now.
Oh, that's
So
Yeah.
I love that. Tony,
I'd
you
be,
writing all
I'd
this
be pushing
down?
for that. Yeah.
Tony,
Yeah.
you getting all this, Tony? This is great stuff.
if you ever need any help,
Got the
please let me know
notepad
because I would
going.
love to help.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Oh, for sure.
Well,
You're
very
gonna get
cool.
like a whole questionnaire from me for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, this is great. Gia, great stuff. If somebody wanted to reach out, take a lesson, book some time with you, how do they go about getting a hold of you? What's the best way to do that? What's kind of how we get in touch?
So I would say my phone number or my email is probably fastest.
Mm-hmm.
I try to answer Instagram DMs the best that I can,
Yeah.
but I would say phone number, or email.
All right.
I'm working on a website in the future. It's
I
not
love it.
completely done yet. So
Nice.
Beautiful.
Very cool.
Well, thank you very much. You got time to stick around for a little preview of the U.S. Women's Open?
sure. I mean, I
All
can
right.
stay for a couple more minutes. I'm going to be honest with you though. I have not been keeping up on a lot of things because I've been working,
All right.
but I was looking into it today.
Join the club.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
perfect.
what we all. It's yeah, we all
We're just
get
gonna
on here to
ramble
talk
on
about the
it.
golf, and we're like, did anybody watch it? And we're like,
Right.
we caught the highlights. That's about it. But yes,
Yeah.
once in a
Yeah.
while we catch it. But the women's U.S. Open. I keep saying it wrong. Aaron Hills, par 72. They could stretch this bad boy out to 7,700 yards. I believe this week, depending on the wind and the weather, they're going to play it around 6,900. $12 million purse. $2 million to the winner. It is the largest purse that the ladies will play for this year. So if that besides the championship trophy, this will get you moving. $2 million to first place, biggest one. Defending champion, Yuka Sasso, -4 at our sister club, Lancaster Country Club in Pennsylvania. It was last year. So that's our sister club. If we could have sold tickets to that, we got plenty of phone calls to buy tickets for that event
Right.
last year. We should have opened up a little side business on that one.
Wow.
But we got Nelly will be there, world number 1. Gino, world number 2. Lydia Ko, got all the big names. First time, I thought this was pretty cool, in the women's majors that they're going to use the ARL drone tracing. And when I saw that, I thought that was pretty cool. You know, the men's events, it's pretty standard on the PGA Tour. When they hit the shot, you see the shot tracer. This will be the first major for the ladies. It took Rolex to sponsor it to make it happen, but I'm glad they did. That'll be really cool to watch this weekend to see the ladies shot tracing. Anybody play the course up in Wisconsin? I know I haven't. Anybody here play the course? Know anything on it? No? Duvall, in your world travels,
yeah.
Duvall, you played everywhere. You haven't played up in Wisconsin?
I've never played out there, but I was fortunate enough to meet the guy who bought it in 2009, if I'm not mistaken, Andy Ziegler. He is a very, very passionate golfer, and he kind of made a commitment when he bought it that it was going to be one of those places that was going to continue to grow, continue to all the course conditions and resort stuff was going to build up so they could have some major events there. They've been fortunate enough to have 2011 they had the USAM, 17 they had the US Open, 2008 they had the Women's Public Links, if I'm not mistaken.
They did.
And they had the U.S. Mid-Am there a couple years ago in 22. And they've got some other stuff. I think they're doing the U.S. Women's Am, the U.S. Women's 4-ball, the men's 4-ball, all in the next maybe 7 to 8 years. No cart pass, a great-looking piece of property, a lot of good. I love the fescue look that they have, kind of brown it out around the fairways and in between holes, and it's looking about waist high, so I'm sure that's going to be pretty nice if you hit it up there trying to find your golf ball. So it should be pretty fun to see on TV.
Yeah, it always...
I did speak with a friend of the pod, Mr. Andrew Romano, who did play in that Mid-Am,
the 22 Mid-Am.
At Aaron Hills.
And Yeah. So, he had just mentioned that, and this guy is, for listeners, he hits the ball very high. He's a very high ball hitter, and even he was talking about how he needed to play a ball with more spin around the greens. I believe he was referring to more, but still, like, this place has some teeth. Like,
yes, it does.
It's gonna be a true test. Especially the weather's not going to be very good, so it's going to be interesting.
Yeah. So with that being said, that's a good segue. The weather, it is going to be cool all week. It gets better. I think Sunday's supposed to be 80 by the time the final round comes in. It could be windy. It's links golf. It's going to be windy. It's going to be firm. The USGA has said that they're setting it up to demand more accuracy and strategic play rather than power. So they're going to try to take the power game out of it. It's going to be more about accuracy, strategy. They're leaving the rough grow a little longer. Then they'll play around with the pin positions depending on which way the wind's coming and things like that to try to balance it out so it's just not carnage, which the USGA is known for doing at certain events. But the last scores for the Open have been -4, -9, 13, 4, 3, 6, 11, right down the line. So the ladies are definitely taking it under par for an Open. Do we have any guesses with Aaron Hills being firm, long rough, and fescue? Do you all want to take a guess on what the final score is going to be? How many under?
I almost think there is a chance that could be over par.
Really?
I was going to go with dead even.
Wow.
Even par.
All
if
right.
it blows out there and it's firm, no chance.
We got.
It's going to be difficult.
All right, we're writing this down. Tony, what did you have? You said
What do you
over
think,
par.
Gia?
We're
we
writing
getting a
this
check
down.
mark for this?
Yeah, we're writing
mark
this
for
down.
All right,
We're writing this down.
This is it. We're gonna we gotta get it. Okay, I'm going over. Why not?
How many over?
So
over.
anywhere
You
from
just get
1 to
everything
40,
over
is that
par?
what
What are
you're
you
saying?
gonna?
Like,
Is somebody want to take more than 1 over?
What are we doing here, Tony? This is like our 9th week. You know how to pick scores. Like, what are we doing?
Well, Tony
right
is
now?
a slow learner. He screws it up every week.
Listen.
Unbelievable.
I'm here to take one for the team. I think we've established that.
We got to come
fader.
All
back.
right, so you get two. You get 2 over and above.
No,
Is
1
that what
over
you're
and
saying?
above.
1 over. All right, Tony's a +1.
Okay,
All right,
Yeah.
Duvall, what are you doing?
I'm taking dead even.
Even
par.
Gia, what do you think? Random
I'm
shot in the
gonna
dark
do-
guess.
I'm gonna do a -2 because I'm a girl's girl. I believe
it.
in the women. They're gonna do good. Just because it's difficult doesn't mean we can't overcome challenge. So
Agreed.
Well then,
even if it's not a lot, I'm gonna do
14,
a little bit under.
15, no?
well you're gonna love this then because I think the girls are gonna dominate. I'm going
Yeah.
-7.
I like it.
Yeah.
-7 is good. You can't hold
Wow.
them back. You
It's
can
almost
grow
like we drew it up.
but it's going to be like
What?
it's going to be like the player that you picked in the last major, Duvall. She hit like 17 of 18 fairways, hit 17 of 18 greens. Yes, she had 52 putts, but like the ball striking is there, right? So I think
Someone's gonna have a putter.
there's a lot of ladies on the tour that can
Couple
move
hot
it.
putters.
They can control their ball. They're very skillful. I think it's under par, easy, all day long. That's a layup. Thank you.
You needed one after this week, apparently.
Oh,
So there
I
you
did.
go.
No, I definitely did. So why don't we get into that? We're gonna lick our wounds real quick. We had the PGA Tour was in action last week.
Woof.
It was tough.
We'll go through this quickly. Favorites, Tony, you got the check mark with Fleetwood -8. 50 and
backdoor.
over. Duvall, you got that with Bud Cauley -9. Long shot was Svesvin. Tony, you got that. So we had current standings. Duvall, you're at 11. I'm at 9. Tony, you bumped up to 7. Congrats, man. You're getting close. You're back within reach. So, Gia, we're going to do picks this week. Yeah, there you go. Any chance he gets. So, Gia, we're going to do picks this week. And our last guess, so don't be nervous about this, our last guest was actually negative. He picked a player that was not in the field at the PGA.
Okay.
So
Okay.
as long as you pick somebody that's in the field, you're going to surpass our last guest. So with your picks. So we got a high bar for you to reach, all right?
Perfect.
So let's go with our favorites. And let's start with Tony.
Yes.
Since you are 7. Why don't you rip off your favorite, Tony? Who do you like?
How do you mentioned her before? I'm scared to try and pronounce this. Gino?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Fiddical? She's the top favorite. She's the number one favorite player of the whole event. So you're just taking Scotty.
So you took the favorite.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Way to go, Tony.
Eat on that, AD.
Yeah.
Way to go,
like
Tony.
Let me cross her off.
How you like it?
Now. Hang on a second. I got to go down the list.
Yeah. Oh, wait. She's number 1. That's right.
Oh.
Go ahead, Michael.
Oh, you want me to go?
You're second.
Oh, yeah, that's true. All right. Usually I go last. That way you guys eliminate some people for me. But I will go with I'm going to go to Rio Takada.
Nice.
Love Rio. She's got a win this year already. Her game is going to be great. Hits a ton of fairways. Going to give her a lot of opportunities. So I'm going with Rio to take home the U.S. Open. Duvall, what do you got?
Yo, Ju Kim.
I like it.
It's so rude of us to all go before we let Gia go. It's so rude.
There was some strategy to that, Tony, as our guest. I wanted to kind of have her see how it went. Did we talk a lot about the picks? Did we not talk a lot about the picks? I didn't want her to be uncomfortable.
Yeah,
well played,
I didn't,
Michael.
Good.
Well played.
I didn't really talk about my pick. I guess you don't really have to when it's the all of this, like.
Yeah, when you pick the favorite, I'm taking number 1. What else do you have to say?
I'm going to pick Scotty. Oh, let me go down
Let me
his
talk
wins
about
for the
talk
last
about his
7 years.
footwork real quick.
I'm going to take Annika.
Yeah.
Yeah, Annika. Yeah, hey.
Well,
Great job.
we should unrestrict it. Like, you could pick whoever you want. You don't have to not pick one of the people
Listen,
that we
I took.
No, you don't. I mean, mine was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Mine was like the 10th or 11th player.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, I took one that, listen, T6 or second last year. No, let's see. T12 last year, T6 in 23, a second in 2018, all at the U.S. Open.
Mm-hmm.
She's a 2014 Evian Championship winner. 3 top 10s.
Wow, look at this guy.
I'm going. She's my pick. She's hot. This is a favorite right here.
Thanks, Brandon.
I got the favorite.
I love it. All right. With all that said, Gia, who do you got for your favorite?
Okay, so I think my pick's gonna be Nelly Corda, but I have a reason behind it.
All right, let her
She's
rip.
good.
Yeah,
she's really good.
Yeah,
Awesome.
she's good. But as we talked about before, I'm a heavy mental game player. I focus a lot on that, and I find it very impressive how she allows herself to get aggravated, but then channels that back into her game and is like, okay, I allowed myself this aggravation, but like now it's time to play.
Yeah, kind of gets
so like
reset.
that's one Yes. So that's one of my reasons because that I feel like is harder than any shot that she's going to have to hit is like getting past that frustration and moving on.
For
Really
sure.
cool.
Great skill.
Love it.
It's a very good skill. Agreed.
Love
All
it.
right. Well, now let's go with somebody who we think will have a good showing, maybe challenge for a day or two, but gets that top 30 finish or better. We want to go reverse order. Gia, do you want to lead off?
Sure. I'm going to try not to butcher her last name,
That's okay.
but I think I got it right. So I'm going to go with Celine Boutier.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Nice.
No,
I
come on.
feel like she might not like always be, she might not always be at the top, but I feel like she's got like a good one in her.
She's a gamer.
Love
So,
that.
Yeah, that's
Big
Got to
a
go
really
with the
good
gut.
pick.
You got to go with the gut.
That's
She's the
really
one.
good.
She's a French. She's won the French Open or I forget. She won something in France, like a really big one.
Hopefully a golf
oh
tournament.
yeah.
Home.
Was it the Evian? Maybe the Evian. Is that in France? Do you want me to look it up?
Sure. Well, you have some time.
beforehand.
Yeah.
Beforehand.
That would be
maybe.
ideal.
No.
So we can skip this one on fact check later on.
All right. Yeah,
There you
you
go.
can look at one up. All right. I forget the reverse order. Andrew, was it you or me?
Oh, it's going to be me, then you, then Tony.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm going with Jennifer Kupcho. She's an American.
Interesting.
62nd Rolex, 59 in the CME Globe. She's been lingering around 30th place all year. Decent finish at Chevron. So if we're talking top 40, she's definitely capable of making a move, but I see her kind of lingering around that cut line. Good week.
Nice. All right, I'm up. We'll give
Her
Tony
home
some
national
time
championship.
on
Hey,
his
by the
lookup.
way,
Yeah.
I was right. The 2023 Evian Championship was played in France.
All right.
So,
Hit that little button
What a
where you
treat.
clap for yourself.
Yeah, do it quick.
There you go. Yeah, get that in real quick. All right. So my
on my
player,
six.
I am
Damn.
super happy that none of you picked her. She won 15 times before age 23. 5 of those a major. She's had 2 hip surgeries. She got the yips bad, and she went putting left-handed now.
Lydia Ko? No.
Nope. Yeah, Lydia. So
Yeah.
she qualified for this U.S. Open. She got in on a 5-for-1 playoff. I'm going with Yanni
Oh.
Singh.
Wow.
Yes.
She is back.
Wow.
Age 36. Hasn't
I
won
love
since
it.
2012. She's
I
got
heard
the
about this.
experience. Hopefully she's putting left-handed, like just pure in it. No more yips with the lefty. So I got Yanni Singh, just slid under the radar on all of you.
Did you see any of her in her prime, Mike?
Oh, she's unbelievable. At age 15, she won the Pub Links.
It was
Wow.
Crazy.
incredible
Yeah.
what she did when she got out on tour. Like
Oh, yeah.
she was, I can't even explain it. It was so good.
Oh.
I like
what-
that pick, Mike. I didn't even know she was still playing. But
What's
I
up
did
with
see
her putting left-handed?
Well, she putted righty before, and she self-admittedly had the yips,
yips.
so bad that it wasn't even a on purpose type of thing. It was just a what do you
Yeah.
call that? Gia,
Well, yeah.
you got the mental. What's that? An involuntary movement?
Uncontrollable.
Yeah, like an uncontrollable type of like a yip is what it is, right? So it just she got to the
Interesting.
ball and her hands just. So now she's doing left hand to kind of rewire the brain and the stuff like that. So it's
I've
a lot
heard that,
smoother.
yeah.
it was like Lucas Glover. If you ever watched Lucas Glover
Oh,
putt
yeah.
when he was putting
Oh,
with
yeah.
a short putter, he'd almost miss the ball.
Yeah.
Like, he would hit it so far off the toe or off the heel that like
Yeah.
just can't make anything.
Yeah. I've heard of people curing their yips for chipping, but I've never heard of somebody fixing the putting yips besides maybe going to a broomstick or left-handed. So
And that doesn't fix it; it just masks it.
no, I mean
Correct.
it's
No.
I
Oh,
don't
it
know.
does.
Yeah, we had a member at our club who's
Yeah,
no
it
longer
does.
there. I'm not going to name him, but he had the yip so bad, and I felt so bad, and he's coming to me for help, and I tried everything in the toolbox, and he did have short putter, long putter, broom handle. you ever see somebody yip it with a broom handle, it's actually pretty athletic. But
I didn't know it was possible.
yeah,
Like, that's so long, and I
yep,
don't know.
It just
yeah, it happens. Happens
it's
to the
not
best
pretty,
of
man.
us.
It's
No,
not
you
pretty.
just
The yips are not pretty.
no, they're not.
All
Who do
right.
you got, Tony? We buy enough time for you?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm taking Ingrid Lindblad,
Yeah, nice call.
Swede, former Augusta women's amateur winner. So knows how to play on a tough track. I like her
We
game.
picked.
think she won.
I think we picked 2 of those.
She's plus 6,000. It's pretty good. It's good value.
Yeah, it is.
Wait, for win?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, Tony.
How
While
much you
you're
got
hot,
in the
Tony,
bank? How much you
our
got in the
last-
bank? Are we going for the AM now?
we are
Oh, yeah.
our last category. Our
I'm
last
going
pick.
for
Your amateur, Tony. We got 25 of them in the field.
yes. I'm going with the Spaniard, Miss Carla Escu.
Just taking the
Don't make me
top-ranked
do it.
players.
Don't make me do it.
Unbelievable.
Mm,
You're welcome.
Escuder. She just won the
Scooter.
Masters women's tournament, right?
I believe so.
She
Yeah,
did.
I'm pretty positive.
She had a
did.
great interview, by the way. After that,
Mhm.
she was fun to watch.
Nice.
All right. So who is
Look
it?
it up.
Me?
It's worth it.
Mike. Let's see.
All right. I'll go. I'm going to go with a little foreigner, an English woman. She school at FSU. She's current world #1 amateur. Lottie Wode, if I said that last name correctly. Lottie
Nice.
is she plays all over the world traveled, English, so she's got to have some experience on the links courses, I would imagine. Which is Aaron Hill. So that's who I got. Duvall, where are you at?
I got Farrah O'Keefe, little sophomore out of Texas, second U.S. Open before the age of 19. She medaled her qualifier at 8 under. She's seems like she's a stud.
Oh, there she is.
2023, 2024 Big Ten Player of the Year and Freshman of the Year, second team All American. She's my horse this week.
All right.
All right, I like it.
I like it.
And last but not least, Gia, you got an amateur for us?
Yeah, so I'm actually most excited about this one. So I'm gonna go I'm gonna go with Asterisk Tally. So I love the
yes.
fact that she's so young and she's so hungry for the sport. That's like totally what I'm all about. That's like exactly what I'm trying to push for women's golf and like women starting to like dominate the sport. And she's like a perfect representation of that.
Awesome.
So I hope she just kills it this
Yeah,
week.
and last year, I'm assuming she was 15 last year. She was tied for 44 at last year's Open.
Yes.
Wow.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. Yeah, I'm just looking at her
Yeah.
accolades right now. Just shared low AM honors and was runner-up in 2 USGA championships in 2024 alone. She's crushing it.
She
That's a great pick.
she had a good finish in the Augusta Women's this year, I think. Like she finished like top 5, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
She was right there coming down the stretch.
Well, we'll
That's
go
awesome.
with the hot
That's so
take and say
awesome.
she
Can
wins
you
that
imagine?
before she turns pro.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
gonna have a ton of chances.
How
That
many
would be
times?
awesome.
Yeah.
Is the
For the
real
next-
question.
She have 6 more years. 5 more years.
All right. Well, great job on picks, Gia. I think you did well. I think everybody's in the field, so you beat our last guest. Congratulations,
Winning.
winning.
I
Winning.
I am going to have some good picks today if I'm
I
picking.
love that. I love
That
that.
was well
That's
done.
great. Well, good
Did her
stuff.
homework.
Yeah. Put us to shame.
Prep was key. I love that.
Yes.
Mhm. Dominated.
Determined.
Yeah.
So now, Gia, is our favorite part of the program. It is our world famous player or pretender. Tony, hit it.
Player or pretender.
All right.
All
Duval and
right.
I have a 4-week win streak
That's right.
Oh, man.
going. So anticipate this to be super difficult. And at some point,
So,
we may just guess Gia. So we'll turn it over to Tony. He'll give you a rundown, and we'll get into it.
Okay. So here's the deal. So we're gonna play the golf version of Two Truths and a Lie. Essentially, I'm gonna give you 3 golfers in a little bio, and then you guys try and figure out which one is the pretender. All right. So, and I've also got a second tier of clues this week, since we're doing an LPGA version.
Uh-huh.
Always got to give the ladies a little extra,
All right.
So I have a second set of clues. If you're undecided after I read the initial bio, you can go and ask me for another set. All right. So let me start with golfer number 1. Her name is Doris Kimball, American professional golfer who played on the LPGA Tour in the early 70s. She turned professional in 1970, and despite never playing a full season, stunned the golf world by winning the 1973 U.S. Women's Open at Winged Foot, edging out Sarah Haney by 1 stroke in extremely windy conditions. That's golfer number 1, Doris Kimball. Now, golfer number 2, Faye Crocker. Man.
Come on.
Uruguayan.
Is she related to Betty?
Professional.
Yeah.
An Uruguayan professional golfer who played on the LPGA Tour. In her career, she won 11 LPGA tournaments, including 2 major championships, the 1955 U.S. Women's Open and the 1960 title holders championship. That's golfer number 2, Faye Crocker.
All right.
And golfer number 3, Geraldine Britz, is an American professional golfer on the LPGA Tour, formerly on the LPGA Tour. She won the 1979 U.S. Women's Open. During her 26-year career on tour, Britz won twice, her first win coming at the 1979 U.S. Women's Open and her second at the Mary Kay Classic in Texas in 1980. Britz also had 2 runner-up finishes in major championships at the LPGA Championship in 1979 and 81.
I just got to say is wow. I'm the oldest one here, I think. And I don't think I was born for most of those. So, Gia, any thoughts?
Gia's like,
some
what
revenge
are
here.
we doing?
What is going on?
Yeah.
Good luck.
What
I'm
is
definitely
going on?
the youngest, so I'm like trying to think.
Yeah.
Would we like to hear the second
Yes.
round of clues?
I might need those.
I don't know. If you prepped them, we might as well. We're in this far. Let's do it. Second round.
Second
I
round
think
of
I
clues.
think I've got
All
a
right.
lead, but go ahead.
All right. Doris Kimball. This is the 1973 U.S. Open winner. Raised on a wheat farm outside of Great Bend, Kansas, Kimball didn't take up golf until the age of 18 after building her own makeshift practice range using irrigation flags and an old mower. All right. Faye Crocker, the Uruguayan professional golfer, the 1955 U.S. Open champion, was the oldest player to win her first LPGA event, the first U.S. Women's Open champion from outside the United States, and the oldest women's major champion. And Geraldine Britz, who was the 79 Women Open champion. She spent 5 years working as a high school teacher and 3 years as a college instructor before making her debut at age 31 in 1974.
Well, Gia, there you go.
Yeah, I don't know. That was
I mean, there
Just-
you go.
that was a minute and a half of our life we can't get back. It's gone. It is gone. Unbelievable. Well, I think we're in straight guess mode, and we're just trying to
We are.
read Tony's giggles when he's reading it, and I don't know. Gia, any
What do you
instinct?
feel like-
Gene, I'm disappointed in you guys.
So I kind of believe one
Yeah,
because as a woman, I feel like I would do something crazy like that.
yeah,
Like if I really wanted to play, I'd be outside cutting my own holes,
I love it.
putting flag sticks in the ground. So I feel like I kind of believe that. Um, and I also, but I feel like my guess would be two. And it's not because you were laughing. It just doesn't seem
I
right.
love a guess that goes with the flow, Michael. I
Yes,
love a guess that goes with
I
the
just I don't
flow.
know, it just doesn't seem right.
Like
Like
that.
three sounds like it makes sense. Like women are busy. I see how somebody could teach for a long time and be like, "Okay, I'm gonna go live my dream at 31. Like I'm just
Ex-
gonna go do it."
especially back in the '70s, right?
Right.
I mean, let's be real. I mean that, yeah, yeah. Anyway, so I like two as well. I think
Yeah.
we had a straight guess last week. I doubt Tony would put it on three again, although he might put it on three just to mess with
I
us.
I feel like he checked. He kind of gave a little tell away when I threw two up there, and he
Yeah,
saw the fingers. I kind of
he
feel
kind of
like he
giggled.
gave it away.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll go with two. I'm locking in two.
Two.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think two
Two.
also.
All right, sounds like a consensus to number two.
yes. Does our
And
streak continue?
unfortunately, fake
Nope.
rocker is very real.
Wow.
Oh, Betty.
The first non-American to win the major.
Nice.
Unreal.
Yeah.
I love that.
But and I
Could
wish Doris Kimball was real because I loved your reasoning, Gia. But
Yes, it's like
unfortunately, I made her
overcoming
up.
challenge.
Uh,
unfortunately Tony made her up.
I made
Like
her up.
that.
Thanks,
Stranger than
Doris.
fiction.
Well, our
Sorry.
streak ended. Well, it was a good run. Good job,
I
Tony.
Yeah.
mean, four in a row is
I
yeah, that was great.
I'm
I mean,
sorry, Gia. You came in at a really bad
It's
time.
okay.
My ego was bruised.
he had to
I had
step
to,
it up.
put an end to the streak. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay. That's a good example though. Like if women are listening, that's what we should be doing. Go out in your backyard, cut a hole,
Yes.
Yes.
stick something in the
Love
ground,
that.
and start
That's
playing.
it.
Cut a
That's
hole
it.
and
Love
get
that.
after it.
Golf can be anything.
Yeah.
I love it.
All right.
Love it. Love
Tony,
it.
great job with the player or pretender. So we'll segue into our last part of the evening. Mr. Duval, I think we do a little AD weekly, and sometimes it's a potpourri of stuff. What do you got for us tonight, Andy? What's our topic?
So it actually fits right in with Miss Gia here. Um, my thought process at the beginning of the week was we're at another major championship. Um, you listen to the Golf Channel, you listen to all the guys that are coming on and giving the mental breakdown of, is this just another week? Are you prepping the same way as it's just another week? Um, I think that that's bullshit. Excuse my language. I think that everybody is prepping their whole entire season based upon four events, or let's say a majority of guys who know that they're on their schedule the whole, for the entire season. Um, I was just going to try to figure out with you guys what your takes are on, you know, heading into a week where a golf course is not playing anywhere similar to your normal weeks. Is it, are you working on different parts of your game? Do you think these guys are working on, more wedge play, more mid iron play? Are they hitting and kind of experimenting with more short game shots? Because most of the time on a week to week basis, you're not having 3, 4, 5 inch rough. Are they putting in? I don't know. Are they putting in different hybrids, different longer clubs? Are they playing the longer irons? Things to that extent. The mental take on it is really kind of where my head's at with this whole thing. But just to get a take from all of you on listening to Brando and some of these guys talking about how they're supposed to go in and just prepare as if it's a normal week, when we all know and everybody talks about it that it's not a normal week. There's 4 to 5 weeks out of the year that it's not normal. So, Gia, what do you think? Start us off here.
So I'm gonna mix the mental portion of it with kind of like an open-ended answer. So being a golfer and teaching it, I feel like it's kind of hard to pinpoint what people would be working on specific club wise. I feel like it really boils down to confidence level. I feel like I have certain clubs that I love in my bag. Like I know I could hit my hybrid out of whatever terrain you give me. I'm going to look at that club and be like, I can hit this shot. So I feel like, and that could be a woman thing, that could be a man thing, both. It doesn't really matter. So I feel like it kind of comes down to like when you're looking down at that shot, do you feel confidence in the club? So for some women, it might be like, hey, I don't feel strong with my drive. So like that's what they're focusing on. It might be short game 1 week. So I don't think that the course and how it's laid out is the issue. I think it's like how the player is like connecting with their clubs and like their confidence level. Because I feel like it really shouldn't matter where you're playing if you feel good and like secure with your swing, depending on what club you're hitting.
What do you think? I agree with that. I would agree with that. Do you think that on the mental side of it, taking away the swings, taking away clubs and all of that, do you think that there's more meditation, there's more mindfulness that they're doing throughout the week because maybe the anxiety levels are higher, the performance levels want to be higher, so that would be a change in your normal weekly preparation if you were playing another event? You know what I mean? Do you think that that's something that could kind of come into play this week?
Oh, yeah, I think so. And I think another thing that a lot of women are going to be doing, and like Nellie's a perfect example, is your prep time should be figuring out how you're going to recover. Because realistically, you're not going to hit a good shot every time. Probably half the shots that you hit are not going to be like to your standard. It might look good, but it might not be the exact shot that you want to hit. So I think as part of the meditation, it's not going to be as much about like the peace meditation portion, but being like, okay, like when I hit a bad shot, I need to know how I can recover so that I'm not getting phased and letting my emotions get in the way of my swing.
Like that. Yeah, at a major championship, you're probably going to have maybe more of those. You know what I mean?
Right.
You may not get the normal outcome that you would have, or the nerves or whatever is there.
Right.
So that's a great thought. It's a good way of looking at it. Tony, what do you think, Bob?
Yeah, no, I think Gia nailed it. I think recovery is the name of the game when it comes to a major championship. You're expelling so much energy just from like stressing out, I guess, that your prep time, that should be done months ago. Like you said, Andy, your whole year is leading up. So you're not going to do anything this week that's going to move the needle in your game, right? So really you should be making sure your body is recovered, and that you're ready to perform at your top level and make decisions at your top level. And make sure your caddy is ready to go, top notch, But no, yeah,
Good call. Good call.
I think all the little things, right? They add up. The hydration, they're all wearing the monitors now, the fitness monitors. Yep,
The whoop.
the whoops and the who whats and the whatnots.
We can edit that out. No free ad. No free ad.
Yeah. Whoop.
No free ads.
But no, I think it's all about body recovery for sure this week.
So you don't think that there's any changes that would go on during the week when it comes to playing a major?
Like you said, I think depending on course conditions, you're looking at bag setup and stuff like that. And but I don't think you're not gonna learn something. You may find like a swing key or something that really clicks for you, but I don't think I don't think you should be making major changes at that point anyway, right?
I mean, I would agree. I think I see a quick head shake from Mike right from the get go, and I really want to hear the other side of this because he's just itching, and I love it. So let's just Mike fire.
I'm just hanging out listening, but I think you're talking about preparation for the major. The majors that I've been in and around, I caddied for my aunt in the Futures Tour a little bit. watching the players get ready for the week on a new golf course, I see a majority of them around the practice area dropping balls in the rough. And to your point, you guys are talking about recovery, right? You're going to hit bad shots, recovery. They are dropping a ton of balls in the worst lies that you can imagine around the greens and trying to figure out a wedge setup and a shot to get the ball to come out and respond the way they want to. So when they miss the green, if they're short-sided, if they got a little bump and run, or they want to, they want to chunk and run it, or they want to toe it, or they want to flop it, they want to, they're trying all the different ways to figure out around the greens with the new grass type. So when you talk about preparation, I think I agree, Tony, that they're not trying to find something magical in their golf swing. But I think they are trying to figure out the strategy. They're going to do a lot of work with their caddy on the course, figuring out the strategy of it. And then they're going to figure out around the greens how they're going to get their up and downs, what clubs they're going to put in the bag, and things of that nature. So I think a lot of the confidence comes from preparation. That's where you get all your confidence from. If you're prepared for it, it's going to just ooze confidence. What do you got, Duvall? You got something going on?
I don't know. I got something going on outside. I got to go. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Just give me a second. Sorry.
Let's
I don't know what he's doing.
we just pause. I'm like concerned.
You could just edit it. Yeah, like
Get up here. God, sorry.
it's his dog. Yeah, we're definitely not cutting this, Tony.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No,
I'm
it's
sorry.
all
The
good.
dog, we got fireworks and shit going on, and the dog's just kind of freaking out.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
happens.
Oh,
Come here, buddy. Come on.
So
Hunter.
yeah, and I think like Brandel and some of these commentators talking about keeping it normal. I think where that comes in, I think, the Monday through Wednesday, you are at the course all day long trying to figure out what you got to figure out with your game plan, right? And making sure and you're prepared. I think where the normal comes in is on Thursday. Like if you're a player that gets to the course 40 minutes before the tee time, just because it's a major, stick to getting to the course 40 minutes before your tee time. Don't get there 2 hours before your tee time just because it's a major. Don't break out the special white shoes that you've been saving forever. Like when they talk about normal, I think that's the more normal they're talking about is when you're ready for your round. And kind of the hay is in the barn of your preparation is try to keep those tournament days normal to try to keep the anxiety down. Because when you start like, ooh, I got a fresh shirt. I got these special balls I'm using. Oh, I'm going to, get my grooves a little more. I'm going to get there 2 hours early. You start adding in pressure that you don't even know you're adding to yourself. Just subconsciously, you're starting to add pressure to your game and you don't even know it. Just because you're holding it differently than other events. So I think definitely the week of, you're treating it a lot different. Like you said, Duvall, the men and women, they got the majors circled on the calendar. Their games are trying to peak for those weeks, and they're doing all their homework to get it. But once the event starts, they are definitely trying to be as normal as they can. But and the one last thing I had as a note here, I heard a lot of them try to take out one side of the golf course. Sorry, it's a bad joke. Tony hates that one.
I'm not sure if that's what they're doing, but I hear
No.
a lot of chatter about it.
Yeah,
so.
it's a big thing on
have
tour
you heard
now.
that cliche? Yeah.
Gee, have you heard that cliche?
I feel like I have.
Yeah, you want to eliminate.
Do
you want to eliminate
hit a
one
certain
side?
shot shape in your game? Like, are you a fader? Are you a drawer?
Okay, so I hit a little bit of a fade. Not my favorite thing in the world, but it is what I'm working with currently.
Hey,
Yeah.
So, yes.
no,
I love that.
nothing
I love the
wrong
fade.
with a good little fade. Very reliable.
Oh yeah.
It is very reliable. I will say that.
You can talk to
So
a fade.
So do you?
Yeah.
So do you ever stand there and you're like, man, I know this isn't going to go left because it's probably just going to fade a little bit.
Oh,
and
yeah.
And it's very confident. Yeah, that's the we take out one side of the golf course kind of thing, and that's where it comes from.
Yeah, like you can aim at a bunker on the left, swing away, and you know you're not going to hit it in that left bunker. There's just no chance.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's kind of what
It's
that
just
is.
going to fade. Even
Yeah.
if I don't want it to. Sometimes it just does.
That's a blessing.
Yeah.
If that-
Mike was close. It was close, Mike. It
was close.
It landed.
Yes.
It landed.
It
hit
did.
the
Worked
bunker.
on it.
It landed in the bunker.
Yeah.
Like, So that's all I got, guys. I appreciate it. I mean, I'm a big majors fan on every level. So I think that was one. I think that was like one. I'll be real open and honest. That was my one poor spot when it came to like Q schools, big qualifiers, things to that extent, where either too much time, too much thought, too much energy, even beforehand. Where like during the golf tournaments, I wasn't 100%, or too much energy wasted early in rounds and things like that, where you fade off and you kind of try to play catch up for the rest of the week or the rest of the 2 days that you're playing, 3 days that you're playing. So it's interesting to see guys when they come down the final stretch, because we see it a bunch, right? We see Bryson. We talk about Bryson that he hit second most balls on the range at the Masters throughout the week or before the week started and all that stuff, and he came down to fourth round and it was a struggle. He struggled late, he struggled mid round, struggled late. So it was just an interesting take, and it just happened to fit right in with our guest Gia being the mental specialist that she is.
I'm trying to be, at least.
I love that.
Love it.
You're there.
So, Gia, you don't know Andy that well yet, but Andy is so passionate and he gets so amped to play golf. So his point about energy expenditure early in the round is spot on. I mean, there's not enough Zins on the planet that he could lip bump to get him through the back nine. Sometimes because he gets so jazzed up. And it's, it is great to see. Just, it's nice.
Do you know what I love about it? It's like, it's not even my own play.
Yeah.
It's like when I worked in the golf industry, like members and like big member events, the lead up, like the day of, like the morning of, like it was just like I was so amped because it was just like it's just such a cool atmosphere, right? Everybody that's showing up is so pumped to play golf. If you're playing golf yourself, it's just one of those things. But as we look back and we're able to kind of see things in hindsight, it makes it a little bit easier to see where things went awry and where some of the strengths were. But that was not one of mine. Yeah. So I'll be working on that for the rest of my career. That's going to be the one thing I work on. So
yeah, I always loved it. He'd walk in the golf shop. He'd be like, "What's going on today?" And I'm like, there's President's Cup match. Oh, Pachullo and Garrigan, let's go. I'm getting in a car. I'm going to watch this.
Yes, that's exactly.
He's just amped up for any type of competitive golf. He's amped up.
Let me go score that.
Yeah.
Let me go score that.
I gotta go.
Let me go officiate that.
I gotta go.
Let me go officiate that.
Taking my lunch break. I'll be back in 4 hours.
That's great.
I love it.
Great.
So,
all right. Well, we'll get to our last segment of the night, our famous fact check. So this is where, if you haven't seen Gia, we kind of shoot from the hip on a lot of stuff. Sometimes we get it right. A lot of times we don't. We get comments like, "You're not right. That's not right." People love to tell you when you're wrong, right? So I have a few things from each episode. Last week's episode, we didn't do too bad. Guys, do you have anything before I start? I don't have that many this week, actually. Good shape.
let me just double check. I thought I wrote one down.
Spot on. Calvin Pete.
Yeah, you nailed the Calvin Pete one.
That was the thing.
No, I don't have it written down.
All right. Well,
Nice.
The
I
Billy.
think I was right when I looked it up.
Last week, Smalley was playing great. That was Billy Kratzer that came and hounded him on the golf course. The Billy Kratzer curse is a real thing. So anytime someone's playing well, he tracks him down, Gia, and then when he shows up, the player falls apart. So that's kind of – Andy was trying to guess that person.
Screwed me there hard.
Yeah.
So
that was your pick,
put
too.
Put that as another in the column of –
that was my pick.
Maybe somebody else should have that job.
Billy's just out there with the mic over there screaming while they're playing. And he's thinking he's being quiet. Screws Smalley over.
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Seems more like a studio guy,
Unbelievable.
So way back when, I had my Nike Pro-Am. It was Anthony Kim, Chad Campbell, Justin Leonard. I couldn't remember the fourth player. It was indeed Carl Pedersen. If you remember Carl back in the day. Super
Yeah,
treat
what
of
a
a
treat.
guy.
Talk about a
He
fader.
sounds like a player or pretender.
You want to talk about a fader, that dude.
Oh yeah. Tony asked if Cam Davis won this year. He did not. His last win was 2024 Rocket Mortgage minus 18 at the Detroit Golf Club. And my last one was Gia. We had a Ryder Cup at East Aurora. My partner, it was a whole thing where he was against a caller. I told him to hover the putter. He whiffed it like 6 inches, and then he made the putt. So I was reminded, I said in the podcast last week that it was 16-footer that he made, and Jeff Schaefer actually made a 26-footer. I shorted him 10 feet on the putt, so he hit it 6 inches, and then he hit it 25 foot 6
Wow.
inches and made it. So, Jeff, sorry about that. It was a phenomenal thing. He clinched a point for us on that 9 holes, even after my bad advice.
Tony,
I never asked Peretti what the yardage was.
you want to know what this means?
He told me it was like 142 or 5, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh,
You want to know what this means from now on, Tony? Is that every time Mike says he hits it to like 10 or 12 feet, we have to add like 10 to 15 feet.
Well, no, not now.
So I hit it to 6 feet. I'm peacocking around. In reality, it's at like 20 feet. Okay.
Yeah, 20 feet. Well, now,
Which actually, that is how they do it on tours. So
Yeah.
So actually, I'm correct from here out because Gia, these guys got me the Arcos for my clubs. So whenever I tee it up, these guys can watch my data while I'm playing, which is kind of humorous in itself. But I have actual data
Some of
now,
us-
gentlemen, that the actual
Some
distances.
of us have a little bit more time on our hands than others, and me, which I may watch some of the rounds while they're in play.
I like it. I like
Well-
it.
It's very entertaining.
Well, get ready. This Monday, I'm playing in the Lonnie Nielsen Scratch Pro-Am. I'm taking 3 horses from the club over. It's a
At
great,
Craigburn?
it's a great tournament.
Oh.
We'll have
Can't wait to
Arcos
see
in
those.
full swing. Last year, I hit
wait.
one fairway. I hit one fairway last year. Those things are 50 yards wide. I hit one fairway, and I think it was on a re-tee. That's how bad it was. But that was my second round of the year last year. I played in the pro scratch, and then I played in this one. So this year I got 3 rounds under my belt more. So that's
you're in proper form now. Yeah.
Oh,
I love it. I love
I'm
it.
in mid-season.
Don't forget
love
that
it.
hot dog at the turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, my
Get you a hot dog.
All about that mental recovery.
Get that brain food, buddy. Get that brain food.
And our last thing, Tony, we failed again. Gia, we failed. You don't know what we failed at yet, but our spade as a spade counter stays at 8 for 2 weeks in a row. So Duvall is world famous for saying a spade is a spade, and he didn't say
It's
it at all
not an
this podcast.
accomplishment.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah, we need more.
I know.
You need more. A spade is a spade. We got to, dial it in there.
How else
Give
you
it something to get in there.
Days, I don't know what to tell you.
How else you gonna
what do
sell
you want me to-
spade as a spade T-shirts and hats? You got to
Right?
keep saying
Thank
it.
you.
It's just like all the time. It's got to be obnoxious.
All right, I'll work on it.
All right.
That was great. I thought
Glad
you
we're clear
froze.
on that.
I was like, oh no, I froze.
No,
All right. Well, that
Andy's
is
got his
it.
homework.
Another great week. Gia, fantastic
Thank
having
you
you
so
on.
much.
Thanks for your time
yeah,
this evening.
so good.
Oh my god,
Really
I had so
appreciate
much
it.
fun. Bring me back.
Thank you
whenever
very much.
Thank you, Gia.
I love it.
Yeah, it was great. It was great.
All right. Well, thanks again.
Oh,
Enjoy your week.